12 players who won the 2005 Champions League with Liverpool, where are they now? 15 minutes in a damp and desperate dressing room in Istanbul was all it took to change the course of destiny in 2005. Down 3-0 at halftime against a legendary AC Milan side, the world had already written the obituary of this Liverpool team. But those few minutes in the dark of the locker room became a metaphor for the entire life journey of these 12 men. They didn't just win a trophy because they reclaimed the right to believe in the impossible. Now as the sun sets on May 2026, exactly 21 years have moved past that night of fire and miracle. For an audience over 50, Istanbul is no longer just a football score. It is a profound lesson on how to handle the second half of our own lives. We are here to look past the medals and examine the deep scars Gerrard gathered in the decades that followed. We explore the bankruptcies that wiped out fortunes, the injuries that broke bodies, and the public scandals that tested their honor. In 2026, these icons offer us a final masterclass that the greatest comeback is not found on a scoreboard, but in the quiet resilience of a man who refuses to be defined by his failures. 1. Steven Gerrard, the anchor of loyalty and the burden of the slip. The roar of Steven Gerrard after his header in Istanbul was the sound of a man dragging an entire city back from the dead. He was the heartbeat of 2005, a local hero who played with a level of passion that seemed to defy the limits of the human heart. But for a man defined by his search for perfection, the years that followed brought a cruel and public drama. Most famously, the 1-second slip in 2014 that cost him the Premier League title became a psychological scar that he has carried for over a decade. By May 2026, Gerrard has navigated the extreme pressures of management from the heights of Scotland to the intense scrutiny of the Saudi Pro League with Al Ettifaq. His life is a profound lesson in how to handle the weight of being a living icon while facing the reality of human error. He shows us that 17 years of absolute loyalty can be overshadowed by a single moment of misfortune in the eyes of the world. Gerrard teaches us that in the second half of our careers, our greatest challenge is to stop being haunted by what we lost and start being grateful for what we built. In 2026, he remains a symbol of professional grit, proving that resilience is about the dignity you show when you are forced to reinvent yourself in an unfamiliar land. For our audience, his journey is a reminder that a life is not a highlight reel of 90 minutes, but a long and difficult marathon where character is tested in the moments of silence. He demonstrates that your legacy is not defined by one slip, but by the 1,000 times you stood back up to lead again. Gerrard was the fire at the center of the miracle, but his defensive partner showed us that the most dangerous enemy is not an opponent, but a single moment of lost self-control. 2. Jamie Carragher, the outspoken warrior and the power of personal redemption. Jamie Carragher was the man who finished the 2005 final while suffering from agonizing cramps that would have stopped any other athlete. He was the local soul of the defense, a man who believed that honesty and hard work were the only ways to survive. However, his post-playing career was nearly destroyed in 2018 by a shocking public scandal where he lost his temper and was filmed spitting at a fan's car. It was 3 seconds of madness that threatened to erase 737 matches of professional integrity. By May 2026, Carragher has successfully transformed himself into the most influential and respected tactical analyst in global media, working for major networks like Sky Sports and CBS. His life is a masterclass in the power of an authentic apology and the necessity of personal evolution. He shows us that even the most respected veterans can make a catastrophic mistake, but that true maturity is found in the work you do to earn back that respect. For our audience, his journey is a study in how to transition from the physical aggression of youth to the intellectual authority of middle age. He teaches us that our voices can be more powerful than our legs if we stay committed to the deep study of our craft. Carragher proves that a second act is possible for anyone who is willing to admit their faults and channel their energy into something constructive. He remains a fixture on our screens in 2026. A reminder that your mistakes are a part of your story, but they do not have to be the end of it. He is a lesson in how to stay relevant by being the most prepared person in the room. Carragher provided the vocal leadership on the pitch, but the tactical intelligence that allowed the comeback to happen was provided by a midfield maestro who today stands at the very top of the global coaching world. 3. Xabi Alonso, the strategic mind and the mastery of professional evolution. In 2005, Xabi Alonso was the young Spaniard who showed incredible nerves of steel to score the equalizing goal on a rebound after his penalty was saved. He was the cool head in the middle of the storm. Since retiring, Xabi has embarked on the most spectacular managerial ascent in the history of the sport, leading Bayer Leverkusen to an undefeated 2024 season, and now commanding one of the world's elite superclubs in 2026. He has moved from being a world-class performer to a master strategist, with a level of grace that has left the global community in awe. His life is a profound lesson in the value of intellectual curiosity and the importance of professional stoicism. Alonso shows us that the transition into senior leadership requires a total reconstruction of the mind, moving from doing the work to designing the system. For those of us looking to lead in our later years, his journey is a study in how to command respect through quiet expertise rather than loud shouting. He teaches us that true authority is built on the foundation of constant learning and the ability to stay calm when everyone else is panicking. In 2026, he is the most sought-after mind in football, proving that your 40s and 50s can be the beginning of your greatest professional contribution. Xabi Alonso remains a symbol of the modern thinker, a man who proves that the best way to handle success is to stay humble and focused on the next tactical problem. He is a reminder that the most powerful weapon in any field is a sharp and disciplined mind. Alonso provided the tactical brain for the team, but the man patrolling the left flank with a hammer for a foot had to face a much more personal and painful battle with financial ruin. 4. John Arne Riise, the thunderbolt and the bitter lesson of financial survival. The red hair and the terrifying power of John Arne Riise's left foot were essential to the 2005 miracle, as he provided the cross for the first goal of the comeback. He was earning £50,000 a week and seemed to have the world at his feet, but just 2 years after lifting the Champions League, Riise was declared bankrupt in a public and humiliating collapse driven by bad investments and a total lack of financial oversight. He had trusted the wrong people and lost a fortune before he even reached his 30s. By May 2026, Riise has spent nearly 2 decades rebuilding his life, working as a coach and a media analyst while living a much more grounded and cautious existence. His life is a sobering masterclass in the importance of protecting your wealth and the dangers of professional exploitation. Riise shows us that a high income is a temporary gift that can vanish in a moment if you lack the discipline to manage it yourself. For our audience, his journey is a powerful reminder that we must be the ultimate guardians of our own security, especially when we are at our professional peak. He teaches us that the greatest victory is not the money you earn, but the stability you maintain for your family through the decades. In 2026, he speaks with brutal honesty about his mistakes, using his story to warn others about the traps of fame and the need for financial education. John Arne Riise remains a symbol of resilience, proving that you can lose your fortune and still find the strength to build a meaningful life of purpose. His story is a lesson in humility and the refusal to be defined by the numbers in a bank account. Riise fought for his financial survival, while for Djibril Cissé, the battle was against a body that broke twice in the most horrific way imaginable. 5. Djibril Cissé, the indomitable spirit and the mastery of physical trauma. The 2005 season was supposed to be the arrival of a global superstar. But Djibril Cissé spent 7 months of it in a hospital bed after a graphic leg break that threatened to end his career before it began. His return to score a penalty in the Istanbul shootout was a medical miracle that defied all logic. However, his life was marked by a second horrific leg break and a dark legal drama involving a blackmail case that nearly destroyed his reputation forever. In May 2026, Cissé has completely reinvented himself as a high-end international DJ and a global fashion icon, living a life that celebrates the creative spirit over the physical one. His life is a powerful lesson in how to handle massive physical and psychological trauma without losing your spark for life. Cissé shows us that our bodies may break and our names may be dragged through controversy, but our spirit can remain untouched if we choose to focus on new forms of expression. He teaches us that in the second half of life, we must find new ways to channel our energy when our physical peak has passed. For our audience, his journey is a study in the art of the radical pivot. He demonstrates that your identity is not limited to what you did at 25, and that you can find massive success in fields you never expected to enter. Djibril Cissé remains a symbol of the survivor who refuses to be a victim, a man who proves that the scars on his legs are just a map of the battles he has won. His story is a masterclass in how to stay vibrant and stylish, even when the world expects you to fade into the background of your own pain. Cissé conquered physical trauma, but our next hero had to conquer a much more insidious and invisible enemy, an addiction that threatened to swallow his entire life. 6. Dietmar Hamann, the unsung hero and the war against the internal darkness. Didi Hamann was the man whose introduction at halftime in 2005 changed the geometry of the final, providing the defensive stability that allowed the 3-goal comeback to happen. He was the ultimate professional who scored his penalty with a broken toe. But behind the scenes, Didi was fighting a devastating war against a gambling addiction and a battle with depression that cost him £288,000 in a single night of cricket betting. He used the rush of the gamble to fill the silence of a divorce and the emptiness of retirement. By May 2026, Hamann has emerged as a brutally honest and respected voice in the media, having spent years being open about his recovery and the dangers of the betting industry. His life is a vital lesson in the importance of facing your demons before they destroy every trophy you have built. Hamann shows us that even the most disciplined and cold-blooded professionals can fall into dark paths if they lack a support system or the courage to admit they are in pain. For our audience, his journey is a reminder that our mental health is the true foundation of our long-term success. He teaches us that true strength is not found in a hard tackle, but in the honesty required to admit you have lost control. In 2026, he is a respected analyst who refuses to sugarcoat the realities of the game, proving that his wisdom was earned in the hardest way possible. Didi Hamann remains a symbol of the quiet expert who found his true voice through struggle, reminding us that the most important win of our lives is the one we achieve over our own weaknesses in the middle of the night. Hamann was the engine of the miracle, but the man whose spaghetti legs in the final minutes made it all possible chose a much quieter and more isolated path in his second act. 7. Jerzy Dudek, the dream catcher and the art of the graceful exit. The image of Jerzy Dudek's miraculous double save from Shevchenko in the final seconds of 2005 remains the single greatest moment of the final. His spaghetti legs during the shootout turned him into a global legend overnight, securing the miracle for eternity. However, his reward for that night was being replaced by a younger goalkeeper just weeks later, and spending 4 long years in the shadows as a backup at Real Madrid, sitting on a bench for over 1,400 days without a complaint. By May 2026, Dudek has moved far away from the pressure of the goalposts, finding a new passion as a professional racing driver and a global ambassador for golf. His life is a story about the importance of finding your own peace after reaching the absolute peak of your profession. Dudek shows us that you do not owe the world a constant performance and that it is okay to walk away from the noise of the stadium to pursue a quiet and personal passion. He teaches us that the greatest victory in the second half of life is achieving a sense of balance and contentment that does not depend on the applause of a crowd. For our audience, his journey is a study in professional autonomy and the importance of having hobbies that challenge the mind and body in new ways as we age. He demonstrates that being a hero for one night is enough to sustain a lifetime of quiet satisfaction if you have the wisdom to let go of your ego. Jerzy Dudek remains a symbol of the expert who knows that his worth is defined by his inner peace rather than his public standing. His story is a lesson in how to age with grace and a sense of constant adventure. Dudek found peace in the quiet of the racetrack. But for the man who provided the youthful energy on the wing, the journey was defined by a body that was as fragile as it was brilliant. 8. Harry Kewell, the Crystal King and the Redemption of the Strategic Leader. Harry Kewell arrived in Istanbul as the superstar attacker of the team, but his match ended in tears and a pulled muscle after just 23 minutes. He became a target for unfair criticism from fans who called him a coward for leaving the pitch on the greatest night in the club's history. He lived for 2 decades with the frustration of a body that was as fragile as crystal, but a mind that was as sharp as a diamond. Since retiring, Harry has dedicated himself to the art of coaching, moving his life to Japan to lead Yokohama F. Marinos and prove his talent on the global stage. In 2026, he is a respected manager who has finally found the professional respect that his injuries once denied him. His life is a masterclass in professional growth, and the transition from a frustrated performer to a strategic leader. Kewell shows us that true mastery requires a willingness to start over in a new role and to learn the complexities of management through patient experience in different cultures. He teaches us that when your physical gifts are taken away by time or injury, your intelligence is the only thing that can carry you forward. For our audience, his journey is a reminder that your success in leadership depends on your ability to manage your emotions and stay focused on the long game. He demonstrates that a successful second act is built on the foundation of constant adaptation and the humility to prove yourself in new markets. Harry Kewell remains a symbol of the ambitious professional who refused to let his physical limits define his life, proving that the mind is the ultimate tool for a lasting career in your 50s. Kewell found his voice in the dugout, but the man who scored the crucial second goal in Istanbul has spent his later years in the quiet landscapes of Central Europe. 9. Sami Hyypiä, the Broken Pillar, and the Wisdom of Quiet Stoicism. Sami Hyypiä was the towering and elegant center back who was the foundation of the Liverpool defense for 10 years, serving as the captain before the rise of Gerrard. He was the Rock of Istanbul, a man of incredible professional integrity who never complained when the captain's armband was taken from him. However, his transition into management was marked by a difficult and public failure at Bayer Leverkusen and Brighton, leading to a period of deep reflection away from the spotlight. In May 2026, Sami lives a quiet and private life in Finland, focusing on his passion for motocross and staying away from the intense pressure of the football world. His life is a profound lesson in the reality that being a great performer does not automatically make you a great manager of people. Hyypiä shows us that it is okay to try and fail in a new role, and that true strength is knowing when to step back and find a new direction that suits your personality. He teaches us that your identity should never be entirely tied to your job title, and that your peace of mind is more important than your public standing. For our audience, his journey is a study in professional humility and the importance of finding joy in the simple things after the intensity of the spotlight. He demonstrates that you can age with dignity by staying true to your roots and your personal passions. Sami Hyypiä remains a symbol of the quiet professional who proves that still waters truly run deep, reminding us that the most important shield you will ever carry is the one that protects your own inner peace. Hyypiä was the foundation of the defense, but the final hero of our journey was the man who scored the last goal of the comeback before his body surrendered to time. 10. Milan Baros, the eternal boy and the lesson of the final whistle. Milan Baros was the explosive young striker who led the line in 2005. A man whose raw energy was essential to the Liverpool attack during that historic run. He was the golden boy of Czech football, who seemed to have the world at his feet. But his career was a long and wandering journey through multiple clubs across Europe. He became famous for his refusal to stop playing, continuing to compete at a professional level well into his 40s in the Czech lower leagues. By May 2026, he has finally accepted the end of his playing days, focusing on youth development and his private life in his native country. His life is a study in the difficulty of letting go and the importance of finding a new purpose after the physical peak has passed. Baros shows us that the passion for our work can be so strong that we struggle to hear the signal to move on to the next phase of life. He teaches us that while longevity is a sign of strength, true maturity is knowing when to transition your energy into helping the next generation. For our audience, his journey is a reminder that every chapter must have an end, and that the quality of your transition defines your lasting reputation. He demonstrates that staying connected to your roots is the best way to find peace after the intensity of a global career. Milan Baros remains a symbol of the pure love for the game, a man who proves that the spirit of a champion never truly wants to leave the field. His story is a lesson in how to handle the inevitable end of your primary career with dignity and a sense of gratitude. Baros was the engine of the attack, but the man who scored the spectacular long-range goal that sparked the comeback today serves as the elegant face of the club across the globe. 11. Luis Garcia, the ghost of the goal and the art of global diplomacy. Luis Garcia was the man of the big moments in 2005, scoring the famous ghost goal against Chelsea and the spectacular volley against Juventus that made the miracle possible. He was the creative artist who played with a smile and a level of flair that captivated the fans. Since retiring, Luis has become one of the most beloved global ambassadors for Liverpool and La Liga, traveling the world to connect with millions of fans. In 2026, he is a primary voice for international football coverage, known for his charismatic presence and his sophisticated analysis of the game. His life is a masterclass in the power of professional charm and the importance of building a strong international brand. Garcia shows us that the communication skills and the emotional intelligence you develop in your peak years are the very tools that will keep you relevant in the media age. He teaches us that being a positive and approachable professional is a legacy that outlasts any trophy. For our audience, his journey is a study in how to age with style and how to use your fame to build bridges between different cultures. He demonstrates that your influence is not just about what you did on the pitch, but about how you make people feel when you talk to them today. Luis Garcia remains a symbol of the elegant professional who knows that a positive attitude is the key to a fulfilling second act. Garcia is the smiling face of the club, but the man who was the rock of the defense for a decade had to face the cold reality of professional betrayal and the pain of an early exit. 12. Vladimir Šmajcer, the lucky charm and the grace of the final act. Vladimir Šmajcer arrived in Istanbul knowing it would be his final match for Liverpool, and he left as a hero after scoring the crucial second goal and the winning penalty in the shootout. It was the perfect ending to a career that had been constantly interrupted by injuries. Since retiring, Vladimir has moved into the worlds of sports consultancy and hospitality, owning a successful boutique hotel in Prague and serving as a wise advisor for the Czech national team. In 2026, he remains a symbol of the lucky charm, a man who always seemed to be in the right place at the right time. His life is a beautiful lesson in the importance of the final act and the grace of a perfect exit. Schmeitzer shows us that you don't need to be the main star to have a historic impact on your organization. He teaches us that staying positive in the face of constant physical setbacks is a sign of a truly strong character. For our audience, his journey is a study in how to build a diverse and fulfilling second career by using your reputation to create new business opportunities. He demonstrates that your legacy is not just about the matches you won, but about the joy you brought to the collective effort. Vladimir Schmeitzer remains a symbol of the professional who knows that every chapter must end, and that the best way to say goodbye is with a trophy and a smile. The miracle of the second act. As we conclude our journey through the lives of these 12 resurrectionists, we are reminded of the master architect who kept the faith at halftime, Rafa Benitez. His true legacy is not just the silver trophy in the cabinet of 2005, but the caliber of men these individuals have become 21 years later. These 12 men took the hard lessons of that locker room in Istanbul and applied them to every corner of their lives. They survived bankruptcies, they overcame crippling injuries, and they found new voices in a world that is always looking for the next sensation. For all of us, their stories are a powerful reminder that our best years are built on the foundations of hope and the willingness to fight when the world says it is over. Whether you are reinventing your career, focusing on your family, or building a new legacy in your community, the principles of the miracle of Istanbul remain a gold standard for excellence. Success is not a final destination, but a continuous journey of adaptation, personal integrity, and the courage to face your next great challenge. We thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the lives of these iconic champions. May their journeys inspire you to believe that a miracle is always possible in your own second act. Stay active, stay curious, and continue to build your own legendary legacy. Until next time, we wish you a wonderful and fulfilling season ahead. Keep the spirit of 2005 alive in everything you do.